Greetings everyone, this is Connor from Dagora TV, and in this video we're talking about the confirmation that the Elder Scrolls and Fallout series are not in the same universe. So if you're someone who's just a mild Bethesda fan, mild Elder Scrolls or Fallout fan or something like that, who just maybe watches the odd video and just plays the games and doesn't really look at anything online, you probably think, well, this is completely obvious. This is the most ridiculous theory I've ever heard, that Elder Scrolls and Fallout are in the same universe. But it was a theory that got a bit of ground, and the reason why I didn't, I went with it as well as the obvious reasons. Fallout, post-apocalyptic, real-world stuff with guns. Elder Scrolls, magic and elves and Khajiit and shit. And on a place called Tamriel, and a planet called Nirn. And yeah, I was along with everyone that the idea of the world was, the putting together was bollocks, complete bollocks. As well, for the reason as well that even if they was on opposite kind of planets but in the same universe, Nirn kind of has different gods and they've proved that they exist, they've showed themselves and stuff like that. We've had none of that in Fallout at all, really. So I was kind of really against this theory. I didn't like it at all from the point that we really heard about it. I just wasn't a fan of this theory at all. But it did gain quite a lot of ground, I'm not going to lie to you. Especially, it became around first around the time of Skyrim, this theory, this nice idea that they were two both in the same universe thing. And then it kind of gained some ground that after Fallout 4 came out, because there was a quest in there along with the Brotherhood of Steel, where it shows them creating this thing called Nirnroot. And Nirnroot, if you're an Elder Scrolls fan, you'll know it's a very nostalgic planet. Ever since the days of Morrowind, this planet's been in there, this nostalgia trip. Nirnroot, every so often, it comes across in Skyrim. I think there's a couple of dark elves that live in this abandoned hut or something like that. Well, it's not abandoned because they're living there, but they grow in Nirnroot and stuff like that. It's a plant we find in and around the lands of Tamriel. It's very nostalgic, a nice little wink. And 99.9% of people who saw this probably would have thought, yeah, this is an Easter egg in Fallout 4. A nice little Easter egg, wink to the fans of the Elder Scrolls series and other series in Bethesda's catalogue. It's a nice thing to put in there. But the internet, some members of the internet, it seems, took that as confirmation that they were in the same universe, because how could Nirnroot be a thing that's a possibility on two separate game universes? I don't know. But anyway, people had this theory that Fallout was something that obviously is, near future in the real world. It's like, it's not a huge distance away from what the current time is set in, but that the Elder Scrolls series as well is still taking place on planet Earth, but thousands and thousands and thousands of years in the future. And the explanation they use for this is the time breaks that the Elder Scrolls series has, which is one of the reasons why we can explain the end of the Elder Scrolls Online, how that lore is kind of going unwritten and everything, because we have a time break that basically means that nothing happened in this period of time. It's a nice, convenient way to get around things. I'm not a fan of the whole dragon breaks things in time and all that stuff. I just think it's I think it's a too safe a way to explain a lot of lore. But people thought that was a way they could put the two together. And then the theory was just one of those, that was just there. People looked up every so often online and gave it a lot of crap, and some people kind of went, don't object, it could be possible and stuff like that. And then them leaks came out. Well, supposed leaks, I'm going to put in big quotation marks because it turned out that wasn't true. I covered about a 40-minute video on this a couple of weeks ago now, before E3, going through these guys' predictions all the way up to 2030. And, yeah, he was the guy who predicted, that Starfield was going to come out in 2017, didn't happen, and he said that Fallout 4 and Elder Scrolls were in the same universe, but Bethesda wanted it to kind of be a bit of an unnoticed thing, something that it's going to be connected. All the Bethesda franchises are going to be connected, but they don't want to make it obvious. It's like going to be Easter egg here, Easter egg there, and Easter egg everywhere kind of thing. And I said a thing in the video that I do not want that to be the case. I can see how they do it, because at the end of the day, in nerd culture at the minute, universes, cinematic universes, gaming universes, where different games mingle with each other, or different films mingle with each other, or TV shows mingle with each other. It's a thing, people love that stuff. The Avengers, DC do so well. Even the freaking King Kong and Godzilla movie have got one going on. The Monsters universe, the Tom Cruise Mummy thing, and also the Marvel and DC TV shows and everything. People are loving that stuff right now, so I can completely see the business decision of why this would be the case, but the lore decision is absolutely fucking ludicrous and ridiculous. And then the guy also added Starfield into the mix of this as well, saying that Starfield was going to take place in between Fallout and Elder Scrolls, but much closer to the Fallout end, so it's going to be like Fallout at the beginning of the timeline, then a couple hundred years later, Starfield, and then thousand years, all the way down the timeline was going to be the Elder Scrolls series. That's what the theory was. They're wrong, these people. Pete Hines was invited onto the stage, basically, at the GameSpot showcase, where, you know, interviews, they get a load at E3, they get a load of people, you know, developers to show their game and everything. Pete Hines, obviously an important figure for Bethesda, probably the most important marketing figure for Bethesda, you know, is the figurehead of the marketing team over there, showing off, you know, Wolfenstein, Evil Within, Fallout VR, a lot of stuff to kind of show off and everything. And yeah, Pete Hines came on and said it's the most absurd thing he's ever heard. He says it's ridiculous, it makes literally no sense. And then said the point as well that a lot of people, you know, kind of like to blindside this fact, is that there was 3 Fallout games before Fallout 3 came along, before Bethesda got the studios to make it. There was Fallout 1, Fallout 2, and Fallout Tactics. And these games, you know, are obviously made by a completely different studio to Bethesda, may have their completely owned ideas. And at the end of the day, Black Isle Studios or Interplay Entertainment, the guys who made those original Fallout games, you know, they weren't making these games thinking, you know what, we're going to have these and a separate series that was completely unrelated to ours and going to be in the same universe from the off. So I think people were kind of jumping to the conclusions that once Bethesda got the franchise, they completely retconned absolutely everything beforehand, which hasn't been the case at all. They haven't, you know, the game style is completely different. You know, the first ones are isometric, top-down tactics games, basically. Whereas, you know, Fallout 3 and onwards, they're, you know, third-person action adventure RPGs, first-person shooter kind of things. You know, it's very different style of game. But the old ones, you know, that's the start of the lore, and the lore's kind of followed from that. And you know, if, to be honest, from a personal view, the guy who's played all the Fallout games, you get a lot more lore out of the first 2 than you have on any of them since then, any of the games since then, because of the amount of text that's in those games, the amount of dialogue options that you have, because there's no voice acting, and that's not going to be completely unwritten to accommodate just this complete cock and ball theory. And even if they did, you know, like, for the business decision, like, why would they put them together and not make it obvious? You'd think they'd at least make it obvious later down the road that they were going to be that, not in the way that this leak said. But anyway, this leak dude, he kind of put a post up saying everything else that he said for E3 that he predicted had came off except the Starfield thing. But the problem is that I predicted those things, and 99% of people on the internet who were avid Bethesda fans predicted those things as well, because it was just so obvious. You know, Evil Within 2 and Wolfenstein 2 New Colossus were probably predicted early last year by most people that it was going to happen this E3, because, well, especially as well, you know, when it comes down to the poster that they released, the Bethesda land with the 2 areas under construction. I think as soon as that came out, everyone went Wolfenstein and Evil Within 2. Everyone pretty much went like that. So it wasn't kind of a groundbreaking thing when they 2 got announced, and he's like sitting smug in his tower saying that they're right. And then Starfield, which was the main part of his prediction, by the way, to be announced and revealed this E3, and hey, I was bought on it. I made many allegations on this channel that Starfield was going to happen this year. Didn't happen. It wasn't announced or anything like that. And he says that the reason for that is because they didn't want people to believe the leaks were true. When you come down to it, that the wider gaming audience that's at hold didn't know about them leaks, because IGN didn't report on them. GameSpot didn't report on them, Kotaku didn't report on them. The people who reported on them was idiots like me and all the Bethesda YouTubers. You know, it wasn't the main sites that reported on them, so people out of the Bethesda sphere wasn't seeing this stuff. So I think I've seen some ridiculous, you know, reasons of why Starfield wasn't announced this year at E3, and the best one that I can think of is that, well, it's the simple one that it's not ready for this year, because that's what they were explaining. But back to the theory of the reason why this video was made is because, I'm not going to lie, I was a bit worried. After, you know, I read those leaks, because at first, even though I said, you know, you want to take these things with a pinch of salt, and that's the kind of the way I took them, everything apart from the Starfield front, I was kind of in the position where I thought, yes, this is a possibility that Fallout and Elder Scrolls could be in the same universe, but I really do not want that to be true. And thankfully that it's not, because if it was the same universe, then it's kind of just disregarding a lot of the lore that I love about these 2 games, just to accommodate a stupid kind of reason to put the 2 together. It's kind of like saying, oh, let's put Game of Thrones and Lord of the Rings in the same series, but one's so far in the future than the other, and no. Just no. Like, I just don't want that at all, you know. I like these things to stay separate. They can have their own stories. Not everything has to fucking mingle. Let it be on its own for a little bit. That's the one thing I'm really happy about the new, completely off the topic here from Fallout and Elder Scrolls, but the Insomniac Spider-Man game that's coming out got no ties to this Marvel's Games universe thing that Square Enix are doing. And that's good, because we can get probably a better Spider-Man story out of it. God, imagine if the Batman, you know, games had to mingle with loads of other superheroes and stuff like that, like Infinite Crisis or whatever, the DC games that came out, or the Nolan trilogy had to mingle with, you know, a Flash movie and a Superman movie and stuff like that. Like, no, just leave these things separate. Let Elder Scrolls be Elder Scrolls, let Fallout be Fallout, and let them do the thing and have great lore for each other. It'd be brilliant. So, thanks for watching this video. Please leave a comment about what you think about this theory. You know, obviously it's been proven wrong now by Pete Hines himself. Thankfully, that's been the case. I'm very happy that it's been called absolute absurd. It's the most absurd theory I've probably ever heard in the video game space. I'm very happy that it's been proved wrong. Put in the comments what you think about this. Put in the comments as well about some of the other theories in and around the Elder Scrolls universe you do like or don't like and stuff like that. Please like the video, subscribe for more Elder Scrolls based or Bethesda based content, and follow me on Twitter, and I'll see you guys later. Goodbye.